I just want to say thank you to everyone who watches my YouTube channel. And if you don't think a Savannah monitor will play tug of war, you're wrong. Because they will. And they're actually really good at it. There we go. So if you guys like my videos, ooh, he's strong. Please go ahead and leave a like. That helps grow my channel. Also, please comment on my videos. I love interacting with you guys. It's a lot of fun, and I get to answer questions and see that you guys care. And if you're not a member of the family, you can go ahead and subscribe. It's free. It helps me grow the channel even more. And I've listened to you guys, and I do have a Patreon down below. Oh, alligator death roll. So please go ahead and like, comment, subscribe, bell icon. It's the end of the day, so Simba's a little bit tired out from a big day. We were outside and everything, so this is the perfect time for us to do this video and not have him go crazy all over us. But it's time to replace his UVB bulb. Now, how do we know it's time to replace? Well, this bulb's been in here for a couple years. There's mercury in these bulbs, like any fluorescent tubes. We can see it's starting to get a little bit black. That means the bulb is getting older. That doesn't mean you need to replace it yet necessarily. How do I know I need to replace it? Because I use a solar meter. That's right. Really the only way to measure UVB and UVA. And we can talk about Savannah monitors in general. But Savannah monitors come from an area that are in the Ferguson zone index of 3 to 4. Oh no, don't come over here. Okay, you want to smell this? So because they're in that Ferguson zone, sometimes I'll tell people, oh, they look at a UV gradient chart on Ferguson zones, and they'll see 3 to 4 for the Ferguson zone. So they'll look at this, and they'll say, oh, 3 to 4. Well, in this case, luckily, 3 to 4 do still put you in Ferguson zone 3, but they want to be in 3 to 4. So if we measure this UVB where Simba basks, Simba's here, and when he's laying here, he's about this height, so this lets us measure. We're going to be directly underneath, so the strongest UVB. We're going to press it down, and we'll get 3.3, we'll get 3.2. If we go to the edges and we move, we get 2, so we start to fall out. So really here, we're on the low 3, which is on the low end of Simba's Ferguson zone. We want, on the UV meter, we really want this to be between 4 and 6 when this is going. This bulb could still probably go for a little bit, but it's low. It's on the lower end and we don't know. So we're going to replace his bulb. We're going to put in an Arcadia T5 high output D3. These bulbs are great. Guys, if you do Arcadia, you have to understand, because people will do this and then they'll do another bulb. Who just wants to check out everything? They'll do another bulb for UVA. If you look at Arcadia, you'll see they do UVB and UVA. So in this case, this is a 14% bulb. Because of his distance and how high of a Ferguson zone he can be at, we're going to do this bulb. Now, there are distance things where they tell you where it will be and not advertise. 15 inches would be at 7. Remember, this is to put you in a Ferguson zone of 3 to 4, right where he needs to be. And it'll show you, obviously, as you get further away, the bulb gets weaker. But also, remember, that's like when a bulb is brand new. So how do we go about changing this bulb? Because remember, this is still giving out plenty of lumens. One is, when you put these bulbs in, if you can try to keep oils off of them, use a rag, use a glove, great. But number 2, you should have the fixture be off. You should always have the fixture be off when you're putting the bulb in and out. That way there's no shock of power as you're turning it. So I'm going to go ahead and shut that off. Now the bulb is off. Remember, it's not an LED. It can be a little bit hot. So just keep that in mind. Even though it is a fluorescent tube, they do get hot. So I'm going to take this out. Now let's look at this. This bulb has been in here for almost 3 years. And if it were closer, it would still be good. If it was something that needed to be in a smaller Ferguson zone, it would still be good. But also, I'm not done with this bulb. This bulb can go to some of my reptiles, like a bearded dragon, that requires less UVB, or their fixtures are much closer. So I'm not going to scrap this bulb. And I try to preach, guys. I know these solar meters are expensive. You can get them typically on sale for around $200, but guys, they do pay for themselves. Because if you're buying a $25 after shipping, sometimes $30 bulb, depending on the length, this is a 22-inch bulb. If you have the larger ones, a 3-foot, a 4-foot, they're more expensive. If you're replacing them every 6 months, just think about that. Let's call it $30 every 6 months. 30, 60, 90, right? This is just for one. So by 2 years in, you're at 120. All of a sudden, 3 years in, you're at the cost of the solar meter, when you don't need to do that. So if that's for the small bulb, if you're paying $50 to $45 to $50 for the large ones, in a year or a year and a half, you would have saved money with this. That's on one reptile, one bulb. If you've got more reptiles or more bulbs in an enclosure, look, Simba has 2. That one's closer, so that is not a 14%. And that is not in a reflector because of the distance. This has distance, must be in a 3 times reflector. You save money with these. Also, without these, you don't know when it's bad. You don't know if it came to you bad. Maybe it's giving off too much or too little UVB, even though they're supposedly tested. Stuff still gets through. And I know Arcadia, unlike some other ones, for this bulb says, hey, you'll get a service reminder if you register. Of course you will. Every 1 year, time to replace. Well, you're good. You're replacing them 3 times, sometimes, most of the times, 3 times sooner than they need to be replaced at. All right, the new bulb is in there. I'm going to go ahead and turn it on. All right, I just turned that on. Now remember, this is a mercury vapor-filled bulb. So when you first turn it on, it will take a minute to fully energize the tube the first time. And the UVB reading can be very high because sometimes the bulb has to burn in to stabilize the UVB. That's all normal for fluorescent tubes, compact fluorescents, and mercury vapor bulbs. So you're not here, but maybe you can see in the camera, the full tube is lighting up. It's getting a little bit brighter, and we can monitor how much UVB it's putting out. This is just when bulbs are brand new. Look at that, 5.6. Between that 4 and 6 that we were talking about, which is right where we want to be. 5.4, beautiful. Beautiful. That's when you know it's time and when to replace. We need this guy for all your reptiles. The reason why you need UVB is UVB helps. People are confused. They think it makes calcium. They think it does this. The UVB helps their body naturally produce vitamin D3. They need vitamin D3 because it allows their bones to absorb. Go to bed. He's going to bed in about a half hour. Maybe you can come lay down with me tonight if you behave. He's already all stretched out and relaxed. They need vitamin D3 to allow their bones to absorb the calcium. If you give them calcium without proper D3, they're just going to pee the calcium out. So their bones need to absorb that calcium. Think of their bones as porous with all these little micro holes. And as they eat the calcium and they have D3, the D3 allows the calcium to soak into the bones. Prevents MBD, proper bone health, bone strength, things like that. But also, you need to give calcium because when these guys eat, the pH level, just like humans who have acid reflux and things, and you can take a Tums with just calcium carbonate, when they eat food, when they need calcium to digest, calcium is actually released from their bones to help them digest. And so we need to make sure that their bones are constantly restocking. And that's why you always want to dust food with calcium. That way they don't have to release as much from their bones and take away from that health. Okay, so I see where the UVB is. I got to get directly under it. It can be hard because my head is outside of the tank and I have this thing here because I'm filming. But what I'll do is I'm going to leave it like this. I'm going to come back in a half hour and get this directly underneath where I was before. and measure the UVB, and we'll go from there. Hopefully this helped you guys and it shows the value in this, because then you don't know, what if this bulb was new and malfunctioning and was putting out 10, 12, 13 on the UVB index? That's a sunburn territory. That's really bad for them. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. Take care, and thank you to everyone on Patreon. No, Simba, I'm just doing this. Thank you to everyone who subscribes, everyone who leaves a comment, and if you like my videos, that helps YouTube spread the video. Take care, everyone. Thank you guys for supporting my reptile rescue family.